Hello everyone and welcome back to the island of Elba. The city has the best internet connection, I am glad to hear. There are a couple of things that I want to do in this episode, but first of all, let's go ahead and just unlock the entire map. Simply because we can. So this costs us 1.3 million? Oh, I completely forgot we had unlocked this part already. Alright, so we're gonna purchase that. Yeah. Won't hit us that much, to be honest. So overall, that is good. Now, we had a problem in the past with our harbor where we couldn't connect this part here. Not our bus connection, our ship connection. Cargo ship route. I wanted to connect this part here to the main area or the main part of the mainland of Italy, but it still doesn't actually allow me to do this. So let's see if we can't fix the shipping route over here. And in all honesty, I'm not entirely sure what the problem is. So maybe we just need to upgrade it. Could also be that, no. It wasn't that part up here that apparently caused the issue. But it really doesn't like to go out this way and connect it over here. However, if I were to put in another connection... Oh, it can't even find this connection. Maybe it's an issue with this side of the... Oh, look at that. There is actually some additional land in front of it that I hadn't noticed before. So let's go ahead and just flatten this out in the hope that our boats will have an easier time to get there. So let's have another go at this. If I wanted to put one up here, can't find a path. Can't find a path here either. I don't understand why it can't find a path. What if we go from this one? Oh, this works. Warehouse, railroad connection, cargo crane. Maybe this one is for going in the opposite direction. Ooh. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'll take it. Either way, we are going to connect up that additional route. So this is Piombino. Where does this one go? Grandly. Now that doesn't sound right. Give me a second, I will be right back. All right. So, East Vale, not true. This is Corsair, so I think that one was correct. And East Vale should actually be called Bastia. Here we go. That is part of the next bigger island of Corsair. And it does actually remind me. So if that were to be Corsair... Bastia. Now, it doesn't seem like there's actually another route going to the east. So this should actually be Bastia as well. Corsair is the island. Come on, let me select it. So we have two routes to Bastia over this way. In addition, this one was correct. Although Piombino is both, basically both, technically, both of these actually go to Piombino. So let's actually set this to Piombino as well. And, oh boy, really need to do something about like disaster shelter and things like this. Anyways, left side Piombino, right side to Piombino, left side to Bastia. All right, and in the north we're shipping our containers. In the south we're actually shipping our passengers. So that overall works out pretty well. Good. So that was just a little side fix that I wanted to do. And not this episode, but the next one, I think we're gonna start putting in little villages all across the map and fully connecting them up. And we're just gonna see how this will make the most sense. Now, Elba in itself has an airport, and that airport is technically somewhere here. But of course, based on the scale of the island, it's never gonna happen. Not like this. So if we unlock our air traffic, and we're going to have a look at the size of our airport, and it doesn't need to be an international airport. I guess we could unlock it and see what it looks like, but a small airport will do, and the small airport is actually massive. It would basically take up this entire area. So what I'm thinking is we have a gap between the mountains over here where flights can come in and also head back out. We're gonna actually put the airport over this way, connecting it to the harbor, cargo harbor, and to our tourist area, which again will bring in more tourists and hopefully more of the customers that there's a lack of. So it will involve quite a bit of earthwork, but in all honesty, I think it will be worth it. So let me get started on some terrain modifications, and then we'll have another chat after that. Alright, we have created a pathway down here to our airport, and in a little bit we'll create the same over this way. But for now, I want to make sure that we're placing some roads initially to help us guide the overall placement and see how much of the terraforming we need to do. So I want to make sure we have a through road that kind of circumvents the inner workings of the airport. And we're going to place that relatively close to the edge of the mountain right here. So from there, what I would expect, actually let's for now just connect this up over here. Let's see how far out we could go. I think overall that's not too bad. And then we can swoop that in here. We'll do that in a little bit. So we're gonna turn this into a 3-lane asymmetric road in the beginning. So our passengers, or well, maybe not passengers, maybe actually, let me redo this. We want a relatively large road over here to deal with all the traffic differences. Do we? No, I actually don't think we do. So we want to have them in opposite direction, and maybe in the middle we can actually turn this into something along the lines of this. We want to make sure that we can get to the other side from here, ideally without too much interference. So in order to do this, we will actually just go up and above, and then connect this over here on this side. So This will be interesting, to say the least. But I think what we can do, we can utilize the terrain a little bit to our advantage. If we flatten this out here, just above. Actually, just try to move up from down here to up there. Make it a little bit nicer looking on the sides. We can have a single road to actually go from here. Let's start maybe a little bit further back. And then kind of smoothly move up this direction. And we're gonna deal with all the crosswalks in a little bit. All right, on the other side, I think 10 meters will be fine. We're gonna have this swing around, come over here, and then go from here back down to street level. Going to extend this out a little bit until we're just under 7%. I think that will overall work. And the next thing we're going to do is make that crossing over this way and immediately turn that actually into that part right here. All right, so we have made it over to this side. And now we kind of want to do the same over here to, in a sense, bend into the airport. Doesn't need to have a bridge. So overall that is okay. Actually, let me remove this again. It doesn't quite look as nice as I would like it to be. All right. So if we have to swing this around, we get a front-facing road for the airport, at least on this level. And this is not a one-way road. This needs to be a two-way road. Now that path here needs to go in here, and that path coming from this way needs to go over the other direction. Is that correct? No, we need to have them in both directions. Oh my. All right, let's not overcomplicate things. We can actually place a roundabout in here. And I think that kind of makes sense. About 48 meters, 48, 48. Perfect. Beautiful roundabout. So now we're gonna have that swing in here with a one-lane road. Just like that. And then connect it up in approximately a right angle. All right. Now we need to do the same from the other side. And I wish I could turn off the zoning. Let's try this. Then move across here. Just to the other side. And then we're going to move it all the way to the ground. Not with this tool though. Going to do that. Maybe not all the way in either. 8%, we'll take that. And then move that into this. All right. So now we have the connection from both sides. It might not look super pretty, and that angle might be a little bit steep, but overall I think it will do the trick for us. Looking on this though, can't quite do that. So let's go into our terrain tool. Pick the height from where we're gonna start. Pick the height from where we're gonna start. Raise the terrain over here, and then we're going to slope until we basically are hitting the road, just like that. And then just smooth out the edges again. Now this will be our connection into... That is slightly curved, isn't it? All right, try this again. Now this will be our connection into the airport, so we're not gonna do anything to mess with it. However, we still want to connect into this direction and technically also into this direction. So let's see, we're gonna upgrade the bridge and sort of that first segment in here, so we can go both directions. We're gonna do the same over here. And then from this corner right there, I'm gonna just move into this part. Now, this second part should again become an asymmetric road. So this way, we have a dedicated through lane and one that just turns, basically a dedicated continuation of this. This goes from one road into two. We have one through, one off. So all in all, that's not too bad. And then we're just going to connect this up over here. I wish they had more one-lane roads like this without sidewalks. And I guess technically I could use the alleyways. Let's have a look at what the alleyways look like if we're gonna change that into alleyways. And in all honesty, I think that looks a little bit better. All right, we need another 3-lane asymmetric road in this direction, and that probably needs to change as well, ultimately. So let's go from, before we do that, in our slope terrain tool, that's where we want to end up. This is where we will start. Move this up, smooth out the edges a little bit, and then we're going back in here into our 1 lane. Oh, didn't mean to do that. All right. Not the prettiest, but it will kind of do. Alternatively, we could have actually looked into the intersections, which we need to unlock. You know what? Let's do that. Road, highways, intersection. Let's unlock the large roads. We won't need highways. We do need highways. Intersections. Way too big. So in a sense, that is kind of what I tried to do. With the caveat that we don't really have that through pass. But if I place this in here, I think we're actually going to use this intersection. In order to make this work temporarily, we're going to carve out a little bit through here. So we get this as close to the mountain as possible. Place it down. And the first thing that we're going to do is delete that part. And then we're going to downgrade some of these roads. Make it look a little bit more realistic. But first, let's move this part out here a little bit. Don't think we need that 6-lane road. That seems a little bit much. So I think we're gonna turn this down into a 4-lane road. And that will probably destroy the entire intersection. Maybe if we turn off snapping. Yep, that looks kind of nice. 1 turns into 2, turns into 3. We don't want that to be a 3. So let's go ahead and upgrade that into a 2. I would love to remove the sidewalks, but I think it's also okay to keep them for now. Because ultimately this will become an alleyway, so will this, and this one, as well as this one. Turn this into a 2-lane road. Oh, no, 2-lane one-way road. Turn the back here into a 2-lane one-way road. Alleyway, alleyway. Two-lane road. I'm just gonna keep doing this, so I'll be right back. Alright, I think that is good enough. So next thing, we want this one to actually end up in a roundabout. And a large roundabout would actually be kind of nice, but I'm thinking we need to extend this out a little bit more. Oh, didn't mean to have it curved here. So let's make sure we're on the right tool. Just like that. Create a large roundabout. Oh, this is a cul-de-sac. Very large roundabout. Very large roundabout with trees. Don't know if the asymmetric center does anything for us. Anyways, we're gonna put it in like this, and this will become our front-facing road. Or circular pathway. Now we can actually, let's turn this into a no roundabout and actually have this go into a circular road for us. Meaning we're taking this 2-lane road, connecting from here, going at a 90-degree angle in this direction, 90-degree angle in this direction, and that we will turn around in a second. And then I should have actually just done the parallel tool, have a gap of 2. Nope, not like this. Go from here all the way through there. Then let's see if we can't do it in the opposite direction as well. There we go. Just do a quick upgrade. All the snapping back on. Place it in the opposite direction, and that actually looks pretty decent. Now, we need to just make that connection over here. Nope, not parallel mode anymore. Actually, exactly like that. And same thing on the other side. And now we just need to make sure our one-way streets are facing in the right direction. There we go. All right, so this is our airport front-facing road. Now let's have a look at the airport, and yeah, I kind of figured that would be the case. which to me means we can't have that circular motion. Bummer. All right, let's upgrade that to a regular 2-lane road. See what our airport does now. Especially, I'm looking at the cones. They shouldn't be too close to the mountain area, and the bottom one is kind of still in the way. Now, if we were to go into our... Ooh, that is pretty tall. Could we move this closer? I don't think we should. What we could do, though, is angle this slightly. So let's give that a go. Alright, with that I think we can deal. Let's have another zoom out. And we are placing it, I'm thinking here. Let's do it. Alright, airport is in. Build any airport. As you can tell, I've built many airports in my time. That also tells me though, let's actually have a quick look. So we can actually add, this is a cargo terminal, business lounge as part of this. This just makes people happier, which means we don't need our front-facing road like this. We can actually just go into our road system and upgrade this one and just keep moving it out. All the way to the end where it connects in. And actually the front part, oh, this one needs a little bit of a stub, I guess. Interesting. All right, I've put it in. We're definitely gonna make this one smaller because this looks more like a service road that they need. And the next thing we're going to do is make sure that no street light, no road crossings, and then we're good to go. We probably want a little bit of a turnaround at the end, but that won't be too big of an issue. I'm gonna just go in here, curved road tool, turn this outside a bit, and put in a cul-de-sac. Let's make it actually a large one for simplicity. All right, this is in. Now we just need to connect it up to the rest of our road network. So give me a second and I will be right back. Alright, I think this will ultimately do. There was quite a bit of terraforming that has been going on, but I think that's not too bad, to be honest. There's one thing that we can actually add, and that I find quite interesting. There is farmland down here. So I think in the long run we might actually turn this area into a plateau and put a farm down. But that is future worries. For now, we at least have an airport for our citizens. Which means we should actually put in all honesty, just all the connections. We're going from here to... Let's actually pause this for a second. I will be right back. We're gonna have a... Nah, you know what? Let's look into this later, which directions each of these is actually going. For now, we just make sure that we are connecting them all up. All right, and with that, we have connected all of our airlines. Yes, I've maximized the utility of this airport, but we have some planes going to the mainland, some planes going to like Northern Europe, some to what may be like Greece or Africa, somewhere to the south, and then we have some towards, I guess it might be Spain that could be in that direction. Is that correct? 1, 2 actually in this direction, so that might be going to France, and this maybe to Switzerland, and then this could actually be going to Spain. All right, which means we have a good amount of connectivity through here. Now the next thing that this part really needs, and probably the last thing that we're also going to add in this episode, is some regular connectivity. And you know what? This is a good way of utilizing this piece of road, make it a bit more meaningful. So let's upgrade it to a 2-lane road. And then just keep extending it out a little bit further. And then let's have a look at our bus depot. Not bus depot, bus station. And I think the small one will actually be the perfect choice. So let's go in here and make sure we have a right angle there. So we have something to base our small bus station at. Just like that. There are crossroads over here, so meaning all of our pedestrians should be able to go over here. And we want to make sure that this also has a taxi stop. And you know what? A small kiosk to keep our travelers happier. Gonna add 1 bus route in here from there into our entertainment area. 2 bus stops here. Gotta make sure we're continuing this into our main area back here. Also not gonna go into too far, that's just 1 stop right there. And then the same way back to connect our airport into the entire system. All right, with that, I think we're good to go. Raided the airport, did some significant terrain work over here. Overshot it a little bit as well, but I think overall it will just make sense. We don't have enough vehicles though, it says. Bus line 6. Let's just call this Airport Express. Go in here, set the vehicles not to 10, 5 is plenty, and that should solve that problem. All right, with that, I'm going to end the episode. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.